Today we're jumping into a really powerful story from the Bible, from Second Chronicles, that gets at a question I think we've all faced. What do you do when your plans get completely turned upside down by something you just don't understand?
I mean, really think about that for a second. When that project at work collapses, or a relationship you counted on ends, or a door you thought was open slams shut, what's your gut reaction? Is it to fight? To scramble and try to get back what you lost? To fix it with your own two hands? Well, we're about to meet a king who faced that exact choice, but on a massive, kingdom-sized scale.
So let's set the scene. Our main character is King Rehoboam, and we meet him at what is, frankly, the worst moment of his life. He just took the throne from his dad, the legendary King Solomon, but his own pride and arrogance have just caused the kingdom to literally split in two. 10 of the 12 tribes of Israel just walked out, leaving him with a tiny fraction of the kingdom he was supposed to inherit.
Now, his reaction is completely human, right? You can't really blame him. He lost something huge, and his immediate thought was, okay, I'm going to use overwhelming force to get it back. He was not about to let this rebellion stand. He was going to put his kingdom back together his way.
And listen, he was not playing around. He gathered 180,000 elite soldiers. I mean, this is a massive army. This was going to be an all-out civil war to drag those 10 tribes back under his control. The plan was set, and he definitely had the muscle to back it up.
But just as he's on the verge of marching his army out, everything grinds to a halt. God steps in, directly. He sends a prophet, a man named Shemaiah, with a message that is the absolute last thing Rehoboam and his entire army were expecting to hear.
And there it is, 2 Chronicles 11, verse 4. The command is just stunning. Don't fight. And the reason why? For this is my doing. God himself says, hey, that painful, chaotic split of your kingdom, yeah, that was me. That was part of my plan. So fighting back isn't just fighting your brothers, it's fighting against God himself.
So this lays out the choice in black and white. Rehoboam's plan, use his army, fix the problem himself. God's plan, stop, go home, and trust that this awful situation was somehow part of a bigger, divine purpose. It's a head-on collision between human instinct and God's command.
And in what has to be just a staggering moment of humility, Rehoboam listens. He and his entire army, all 180,000 of them, they obey. They turn around and go home. He lets go of his plan. He lets go of what he lost. And this one single act of obedience is where our story really begins.
So what was the result of this crazy decision? Well, the first big takeaway is this immediate, powerful link between obeying God and finding peace.
Think about what he avoided, a brutal, bloody civil war against his own people. By listening to God, he sidestepped a complete disaster. He learned that God's command wasn't meant to punish him, it was meant to protect him. Real peace wasn't going to be found in winning the fight, but in surrendering to God's plan. That command to stop was actually an incredible act of grace. And this is why it matters so much for us today. Our first instinct is almost always to fight, to strive, to fix things ourselves. But this story shows us that sometimes the most loving thing God can say to us is just stop. That no you might be hearing from God or that wait, it might be the very thing protecting you from a whole world of hurt down the road that you can't even see yet.
But the story doesn't end with just avoiding disaster. Rehoboam's obedience actually unlocked a totally unexpected blessing. And that brings us to our second lesson. What happens when you're faithful right where God has you?
So instead of wasting his energy chasing what he lost, Rehoboam focused on strengthening what he had left. And guess what? God honored it. The Bible tells us that the most faithful people in the other kingdom, the priests and Levites who wanted to worship God the right way, they literally packed up their lives and moved south to join Rehoboam. God blessed his smaller, obedient kingdom by filling it with the most devoted people.
So the lesson for us here is huge. We don't have to kick down doors that God has clearly shut. When we choose to be obedient and faithful in the situation God has us in right now, even if it's smaller or looks different than we wanted, He has this amazing way of bringing the right blessings and the right people to us. He'll build something stronger on that foundation of our obedience.
Okay, so we get the lessons, peace and blessing. That sounds great, but how do we actually apply this stuff when our own lives feel like they're falling apart? Let's break it down into some simple, actionable steps. First, how to find peace. Number 1, before you react, just pause. Stop and pray. Don't let your immediate emotions take over. 2, make the choice to obey what God's word says, even when it feels completely illogical. And 3, choose to believe that God's hand is at work. Remind yourself what he told Rehoboam, "This is my doing."
And now for the steps to blessing. 1, stay faithful to what God has called you to do right here, right now, even if other people walk away. 2, trust that your obedience today is planting a seed for a blessing you'll see tomorrow. And 3, focus your energy on strengthening your own spiritual home, your personal faith, your church, your own heart.
Look, if you walk away with just one single thought from all of this, let it be this one. Obedience brings peace. We have to learn to trust God's plan, especially when it completely changes ours. That's the heart of this whole story.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Where in your life right now is God asking you to trust his plan instead of fighting back? Where is he asking you to lay down your own weapons, to stop striving, and to just obey and find his peace?